Say what's up to my man CJ. Hope y'all ready to get locked in. We about to read this thing right here. What's good, y'all? We about to get lit. We about to get it in. We gonna do the Book of John. Today I'm really just gonna be going over the intro to John, maybe do some of the prologue. We're going to be jumping back to the Old Testament every now and then. We're going to be going to the New Testament, cross-referencing, all of that fun stuff. So I'm getting my notes out here. And it's going to be real casual. I'm just letting y'all know now. If y'all see me looking over here, I'm looking at the computer screen, watching y'all people right here. Yeah, say what's up to the camera. What's up? I got my notes here, my Bible. So, I'm going to be looking all over the place. But just know I'm still talking to you. All right. So, the Book of John. It's a wonderful book. A wonderful, wonderful book. It is the most different of the four Gospels. You got Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, right? Matthew, Mark, and Luke. That's what we like to call the Synoptic Gospels. They're each different, but they tell a lot of the same things that happen. They're framed in the same sort of way. They talk about a lot of the miracles Jesus was doing, and they go into like his lineage in Matthew and Luke. Mark about that action. They're very, very straightforward from that standpoint. John is a personal look into who Jesus was, right? If you want to know who Jesus was, like really, really was, go into the Book of John, because he gets detailed. He gives I am statements from Jesus saying, hey, this is who I am. You have things in here that aren't recorded in the other books, and we're going to go through these as we go about. But yeah, John it's 21 chapters of straight heat. That's all I can say. Straight heat. It was written by the Apostle John. This can get confusing to those who may be newer to the Bible. John is written by the Apostle John, but then when you get into the first chapter, it starts talking about this other dude, John. That guy's John the Baptist, or as I'll probably mention him, JTB, because why not? I like giving people nicknames. But John and John the Baptist, two different people. John the Baptist did not write the Book of John. The Apostle John, James's brother, son of thunder, he wrote the Book of John. He also wrote 1 John, 2 John, 3 John, Revelations, revelation, not sons, but revelation. It was written probably in between 80 or 90. Is probably one of, if not the last books of the Bible written. So it has things in there that are alluded to that may not be alluded to in Matthew, Mark, and Luke, because it ain't happened yet. So it is written later than the other Gospels for sure, and it's probably the latest written book, but people go back and forth on that. I just say one of, if it's one of, if it is, and if it isn't, I'm still close. The goal of this book, the overarching goal, is to show, like I said, who Jesus was in his deity. He was being questioned, as you can imagine. Someone comes down and says, hey, I am the Son of God. People are like, who is you? This book is here to answer that question. He does it in a way that is masterful from a writer standpoint. It's a super complex book, but it's written and wrapped in a simplicity that allows both Jews and Gentiles to understand the context of what he's saying. He speaks to the Jews directly, he speaks to the Gentiles directly, but he wraps it up so wonderfully that everybody's able to understand like who Jesus is. It's written specifically to Jews and Jewish proselytes, because they were the ones who knew of the Messiah. They had the Old Testament scriptures. They were studying those. They were trying to figure out, like, hey, y'all, like, how dare you say this man's the Messiah, right? And so John is specifically writing to them. And if we look, and we'll get into, when we get into the scriptures, we'll look and we'll see that the questions that are asked aren't like, the Messiah, what is that? That would be something a Gentile or a Greek would ask, but they're not asking that question. They're asking like, "You're the Messiah? You?" And that shows that they knew exactly who he was claiming to be. They just weren't sure he was him. They didn't know if he was, I'm gonna do it, y'all, Himothy. You feel me? So we'll look into how John answers all of that. We can see and like I said, we'll break down all of these when we get specifically into the scriptures, but I'm just trying to give you an overall picture of why John wrote this gospel. Some more on the date. This book, relative to when it was written, was discovered relatively like 40, 50 years. I think the first fragments of this book were found in about AD 130. So like I said, if it's written between 80 and 90 AD and the first fragments of the book were written around AD 130, I mean, that's like 40, 50 years right there. So, and they were in the first fragments were a few words found from John 18. So it wasn't obviously they didn't find the whole book and be like, oh, this is convenient. No, it was just a few pieces from John 18 that they had found. But nonetheless, I don't know. I found that cool, so I shared it with y'all. And then before we dive in, and the last major thing that I actually do want to mention is this book has a heavy emphasis on fighting Gnosticism. What Gnosticism is was this idea early in, I guess, Christian history of these people who thought you had to have some special knowledge, some spiritual knowledge of just super secret things that, you know, other people didn't have, but, you know, we have it. And so it was to fight off that, you know, that you needed some super secret spiritual knowledge to, super secret spiritual. That you needed some super secret spiritual knowledge to understand the gospel. Like John is like, no. Like it's deep, but it's not that deep to the point where you need super secret knowledge. Like it's revealed to all. Everyone will be able to understand, right? All right, so that was the end of the introduction to John. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. If y'all want to check out the next video, y'all can click the links to the next video. Peace out.